Welcome to the Rational Review. I'm your host, LeMay. Let's get into it. We got a woman talking about dating in 2025. Let's see what she has to say.
If they wanted to, they would. Except that's not necessarily true, is it? Because there are a lot of reasons why people don't. Fear of rejection, vulnerability, insecurity. And these are all issues I feel like that could be worked through with simple communication. People are so afraid of being vulnerable these days because somebody from the past has burnt them.
Somebody from the past birthday, I would pretty much guarantee almost every single man that doesn't want to open up and shares because they've been burned by every woman they've ever opened up to in their life.
And instead of working through these issues that they developed from being burnt, they stumble through life projecting on these issues onto other people and creating these dysfunctional relationships with other people. And I genuinely believe that's why I have such a hard time accepting no response as a response at times, is because there's a reason and I want to get to the bottom of it and I want to work through it because I've been there. But people are just too afraid of simple communication.
That is led by you. You want to have a conversation where you were the one that's mediating and deciding what conversation should be had. I mean, it just kind of sounds like she wants to be in charge and not work on things, but tell you how you're supposed to be acting.
Which ultimately leads to this fear of commitment, is what it all boils down to. Um,
Fear of commitment. A lot of guys aren't afraid of commitment. They're afraid of the woman not being good enough to commit to. And guys are just starting to realize there's not as much benefit in getting with a woman long term, especially marrying her.
it's a hard time to date in 2025. If they want.
It's a hard time to date in 2025. You could probably go to any generation and they'd probably tell you the exact same thing. It's hard to date in 1950. It's hard to date in 1955, 1980, 1990. Anytime. All right, here's another one. Number one quality in men when dating. Let's hear what it is.
Dated, there's one guy who has forever left a mark in my head. And this is not even a relationship, it's a situationship where we basically dated for a few months. But it's crazy to me how much of an impact he left because of this one quality that he had that forever changed the way I look at men and dating in the future. So, for some context, he's older and has kids, and maybe this is why he's so good at this. But every time I would be with him and having a conversation with him, hanging out, listening to music, whatever it was, he was just fully present. And that to me, more than gifts, more than gestures, more than compliments, more than affirmations, the act of just being with somebody and giving them your full attention. I'm talking, he would never pull out his phone. Obviously, that's basic, but like we could be engrossed in conversation for 20 minutes for 4 hours, and he would just give this level of presence that reminded me of when I was a kid and I had my parents' full attention, which was very rare.
Yeah, I completely agree with her so far. Having someone pay attention to you and actually listen to you is kind of rare. I'd say on both sides for men and women.
There's something about fully dedicating your attention to somebody and listening to them and listening to listen and holding space and making someone feel seen and heard.
Okay, so the only problem I have with the whole making someone feel seen and heard, you can be the best listener in the world. You can be the best conversationalist. You could be the best whatever. You could be the best at this in the world, and someone could still not feel seen or heard. It depends on them. It depends on you too. But like I've said in other videos, it's your job, each person, to make sure the other person's understanding you and you're understanding the other person. So, in conversations, both people's job.
That I find is so rare in men. I have dated emotionally intelligent men, successful men, wealthy men, you name it. And there is nothing like this one quality. So when I tell you my future husband, my future baby daddy, the qualities that he will have, this is number one on my list.
Is it number one on your list, though? Is it? Because if they have that quality, but they're not good looking, if they're just Joe Schmo off the street, come on. I'm not totally sure I'm buying that. I get what she's trying to say, that that's most important, but that's usually assuming that other standards have been met, which, is obvious, but, it's might be the most important, but all the other ones are still important as well.
And I think these days we take being present as, oh, okay, making eye contact, nodding your head, responding appropriately, XYZ. No, I'm talking when you give someone your full presence, there is this feeling that it elicits in the person who's speaking that I cannot even describe, that makes you realize how rare it really, really, really is.
So I've done this with many people. I've done it with my kids. I've done it with many people. And there's still people, they're going to feel like they're not being heard because you're not agreeing with them. So that's another problem. And this guy, this was situationship. So it was probably easy for him to agree to just about everything to make her happy. But, a lot of times people don't feel heard or seen, when you're not agreeing with them and saying, oh, yeah, you're completely right. You're 100% right. I completely agree with you. I don't know why I didn't see it like this before.
There's something about having the ability to just talk and the person listen, but you know that they're listening. And not only will they remember small details a few weeks, months later, but they really hear you, right? And that is something that cannot be faked. There's just something to it that blows my mind and not only makes me want to step up to the plate in showing up that way for other people in my life, but wanting that in my future partner and insisting that that is going to be a quality I find in my future partner, because I think it's so important, but also it is just so healing to be seen and heard. Out of all the men I've
So, yeah, I agree with her. I get what she's saying. And, I think she's at least trying to be honest about it. And she is saying that she wants to show up that way too. So, which is always a good thing. So, I kind of like that video. Let's hear from somebody that's not an American. Let's see what she has to
Another
say.
thing I've noticed by being here in America with dating is that you guys just don't like each other. Like, men say they would rather date internationally, and women say they just don't not impressed with the guys here. I've spoken with both, and you just guys don't like each other. And I think that's a massive problem. If you don't like the people in your own culture and in your own country, well, like, I don't understand why you guys are so nice here. Like, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. But again, like, the standards are blurred. But yeah, you guys just don't like each other. Maybe you should work on that and start liking your own nation and like your own people, kind of make it work. Another thing.
I love what she's saying. It's yeah, we got to work on liking each other, but yeah, that's the problem we have is the men and the women, we each know what we want, and we're not accepting what the other what the other one wants, or we can't provide what the other one wants. I'm kind of glad I haven't been dating, because I can only imagine some of these. One day you might find a girl that's okay with, McDonald's or Chipotle or Applebee's or something. And then you might meet another one another day that, no, you got to be making 100,000, 200,000 a year to even talk to me. And it's like, there's a major difference. But yeah, no, we definitely have a problem. She's right. I found one from a
It does come
guy.
to my attention that most people do
Intentional dating from a man's perspective. Let's kind of hear what he has to say.
not know how to date intentionally. And because of it, they end up in situationships or relationships.
People don't know how to date intentionally. No, I disagree. I think people know how to date intentionally. Women, they intentionally date, but then they find, the chatter Tyrone, and they're willing to get in a situationship with him to try to keep him. And they end up getting their hearts broken. Okay, men, either you're trying to date intentionally or you're just dating to try to have sex. And most of the time, the men that can afford to go out on dates and stuff like that are the ones that are just going after sex, where, I think more normal average guy is the one that's looking for a relationship, but can't.
Fuck.
It does come to my
Thanks for coming again.
It does come to my attention that most people do not know how to date intentionally. And because of it, they end up in situationships or relationships.
Women end up in situationships because they're dating the chatter Tyrone, and they end up being in a situationship to try to keep the guy. And guys, they're either dating intentionally, trying to look for marriage and just can't find one that works, or even if they know what woman they want and what qualities they want, a lot of men, the qualities they want in a woman are not easy to find anymore. And same with women, or the qualities are easy to find, but the men that they want are not interested in intentional dating. So they lie to you about it and say that they are, and you believe them when their actions should show that they don't.
That they don't even want in the first place, and it keeps them from having the dream relationship that they actually want. So coming from someone who actually has dated intentionally, I want to give some tips and some feedback to people so that you can do it too. And these are my credentials for anyone wondering. I met my girlfriend Alina 2.5 years ago. We quickly...
And all them pictures, those few pictures that you showed us, they're all going to the extravagant places that you need to have money to go to. Come on now. You got money. You're probably tall as hell. Come on now, man.
fell in love. Both of us were dating intentionally, by the way, and we traveled the world, had an amazing time together, and we now live together. All right, so step one, the very first thing you need to do before even talking to anyone is you need to take out a pen and paper. You need to write down your dream partner list. Yes, your dream partner list. Because how are you going to know who you're looking for if you can't even be clear about it? You need to be able to write it down and see it in front of you so that you can understand and feel into it. Does this feel right to me? Is this the right person that I want? Okay, I think it is. This feels right. Okay, I want to go in that direction. So what you're going to do is you're going to write down values, qualities, behaviors, and feelings about the dream partner that you really want to have. And I'm telling you, be very specific. I thought I was being very specific when I wrote 40 things on my list. Alina ended up writing 5 pages, and 99% came true. All right, so once you've done that, you're going to move on to step 2, which is to start dating people, obviously, but the part that is different is you need to start dating different people that you otherwise might not normally go for.
Now, see, that makes a lot of sense for women, but for men, that's all we go for is well, not all we go for, but we go for women that we find physically attractive. We have a much wider range. Yeah, and even if we have a plan, that range is still going to be a lot larger than females' range.
Does that make sense? Because the most important thing is you need to broaden your experience and understand that different people are not bad. You might think they're bad because you have an idea in your head, but once you actually start dating them, you'll quickly realize, oh, maybe I was wrong about this type of person, or nope, I was right. I definitely don't want that person. And that's great because now you've narrowed it down. Now, step number 3, when you are on these dates, you need to be very clear and conscious about what you're looking for. Obviously, what we did in step 1 is really going to help you with that. But you need to openly talk about what you're looking for, things that you value, trying to cut out certain types of people that on the first date you'll just know, okay, you're not for me, next.
He's right. And you should be doing this, but how many first dates do you have to go on to find that woman? How much money are you in to dating? If you got the money, okay. Apparently he has the money. Looking at the few pictures he showed us, I'll go back to those in a sec. But yeah, it's like, come on.
Because the whole point in this phase is that you were trying to qualify the person. You're actually looking for, is this person right for me? Instead of just getting caught up in the idea of how amazing they might seem. All right, there's so much more to this. Let me know in the comments if you want a part 2. It does come to my...
Yeah, so he makes a good point, and but you also have to meet the quality. You have to meet or surpass the qualities that the other person wants too. And that goes for men and women. So unfortunately, most of the time, men don't live up to women's standards just because we can't. They raise the bar on us all the time. Now here we are. Look at this. They're on vacation somewhere by a waterfall they're swimming in. Let's go back. Oh, this one. Okay. Cafe. Nice cafe. Something like that. Doable, I guess. This one. Look at this. Look at all these gardens. This is an expensive place. This is expensive. Look how they're dressed. Yeah, expensive place. Yeah, let's see one of the other ones. That's another one. That's another one. That's the last one. Okay, but still, you're looking at that ceiling. Looking at that ceiling. Look at how nice that ceiling is. Wow, yeah, this is a nice place that they went to. You can't lie. These 4 pictures probably cost him thousands of dollars. Thousands. And then all the dates he went on probably cost him more thousands of dollars. And a person making, average living, 40, 50, 60 grand a year can't afford to do all this stuff. And it's not going to be impressive to the woman. You might get lucky and find one that, doesn't expect all that, but they're still going to be resentful because they want that. Over here in the comments, it's, I was stuck in 2 situationships. It was bad. Really? How did you get stuck in 2 situationships? That was your choice. It's not intentional dating. And then this one, dating intentionally is all about discipline and consistency. Okay. Of course, some people might not want the people that are intentional. This one says girlfriend and intentional. I read internationally. I would add holding off on sleeping together until have thoroughly vetted and spent time together in lots of different situations. It's not a bad idea, but the only problem with that is nowadays, if you're not having sex within the first couple dates, it's like, does the woman even like you? It's, it sucks that it's like that, but, okay, you smashed on the first date with 5 other guys, 10 other guys, 30 other guys, And now I'm the one that's got to wait, to men that just screams, "You don't like me very much." Where to women, I know it makes sense because it's like, oh no, yeah, I want to take it slow. I want to do it right because they actually matter. Okay, I get that, but it's hard to reconcile when you're actually in it. Let's check out this lady. Not gatekeeping, this dating hack because I'm nice. Okay, what's the hack? Is this going to be good news?
I actually want to gatekeep this so badly. There's something that I've started doing in dating that I can't believe I wasn't doing earlier. And it seems obvious, but then I talk to all my friends and nobody's doing this. If you're struggling to find someone, whether it's through apps or in person, that you are compatible with, and you feel like you just keep dating the same kind of person over and over again, you're not meeting someone that you want to be with, this is the hack. Take off one filter. I guarantee you there's one thing that you're screening for that you see as a non-negotiable, that you see as a deal breaker, that if you really think about it, you could actually be flexible on, and it will widen your dating pool and show you all these people that you've been missing. So like mine was age. I'm 26. I always thought I wanted to date someone over 30 because they'd be more mature. I've been dating people in their 20s. It's been going better. I don't know why I had that in my head. For a lot of people, height is one. They're like, oh, I only want to date someone over 6 feet. Give like a 5'9" king a chance. It's not going to kill you. In a lot of cases, you're not even attracted to someone because they're 6 feet. You've just been socially conditioned to think that it's better. And you might be attracted to someone who's shorter if you just give them a chance. Same goes for things like, oh, I only want to date someone who's into the same hobby as me. If it's like running or working out or tennis or pickleball. Like, it's not going to kill you if your partner doesn't like all the same things as you. That's what your friends are for. Like, have standards, have your non-negotiables, but really go through your list and decide if there are 1 or 2 things you can be flexible on, because it will open up your dating pool so significantly and you'll realize you're missing out on all these great people. Like, I've done this and I'm so surprised by the people I meet who maybe are missing this one quality that I thought was really important, and then ultimately I learn I can live without it. Again, this is not for everything. There are certain things I know I can't live without, but for things that I'm like, it's a non-negotiable, and then I think about it and I'm like, is it? That's somewhere that you can maybe change your preferences. I actually want to.
So I actually love this video. She's absolutely right for men and women. There's certain things that, we think are non-negotiables, and we have this cognitive dissonance thinking, no, my partner has to have this quality. They have to be this way or something, just something, and you're not leaving yourself open to experience other things. You go in with the mindset saying, no, I'm going to hate it unless it's what I want. And, you just kind of have to have an open mind when dating, like she's talking about height and stuff. But I still think we should go back to what I was saying in another video about women need to start looking at men like dogs, and they would become so much more attracted to men, because when women look at dogs, no matter how ugly the dog is, how many women are going to think he's just the cutest little thing. Now if women were looking at men like that, that would open up their horizon. If they change their mindset to think, oh no, all men are cute and beautiful and handsome, just like they do with dogs, that would open up their dating market so much. All right, everybody, that's it for today. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, stay tuned for more content, and I'll see y'all next time.